embarrassing game. An absolutely embarrassing game. I have never seen a game refereed like this.
I feel like you have to kind of approach it the same way. Like every single person is fighting for their life. Every team's fighting for their life. Every single game matters. Every possession matters. But
imagine this: you're Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, stepping onto the court for your first WNBA playoff game. The crowd's roaring, your adrenaline's pumping, and then bam! 90 seconds in, you get poked in the eye. That's how Caitlin's playoff debut started. But here's the crazy part. She kept playing. With a black eye forming, she pushed through. Talk about a rough welcome to the playoffs. You know what's even crazier? That eye poke was just the beginning of Clark's wild night. The game turned into a roller coaster ride of ups and downs. Caitlin tried to shake it off, but you could see she was struggling. Her shots weren't falling like usual, and the Suns' defense was all over her. But let me tell you, this girl's got guts. Even with her eye swelling up, she kept fighting. It wasn't pretty, but it showed what Caitlin's made of. And trust me, this is just the start of her playoff story. You won't believe what happened next in this game. Let's dive into the chaos that unfolded on the court. You know what's crazier than getting poked in the eye? Having it be the least of your problems. That's exactly what happened to Caitlin Clark in her playoff debut. The eye injury was just the start of a night where nothing seemed to go right for the rookie sensation. Let's talk about Clark's performance. Usually she's dropping jaws with her scoring, right? But this game, it was like watching a different player. Her shots just weren't falling. We're talking about a player who averaged 21.5 points per game in the regular season, but in this game, she struggled to even hit double digits. And it wasn't just the scoring. Clark's usually a wizard with assists, but the magic wasn't there that night. You could see the frustration building. Every missed shot, every turnover, it was all adding up. That swollen eye? It didn't help, but Clark wasn't making excuses. She straight up said, "I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down."
good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen.
But here's where it gets wild. The whole game was a mess. Clark mentioned how the shot clock kept messing up, saying it was one thing after the next. And don't even get me started on the refs. There were these phantom fouls being called left and right. It was like the refs were seeing things that weren't there. You think that's bad? The entire Fever team was having a nightmare.
Players getting mauled on the Fever's end going for layups, and then multiple phantom fouls called on the Fever. Embarrassing game. An absolutely embarrassing game. I have never seen a game refereed like this.
They were shooting like they had blindfolds on, just 40.3% from the field. And from three-point range, a miserable 6 of 28. It was painful to watch. Clark wasn't alone in her struggles, but as the star rookie, all eyes were on her. The pressure was intense. Every missed shot felt magnified. You could almost feel the weight on her shoulders growing with each possession. But here's the thing about Clark. Even on her worst night, she showed flashes of why she's so special. Despite everything going wrong, she only had 2 turnovers. That's tying her season low. In all that chaos, she still took care of the ball like a pro. And let's be real, this wasn't just any game. This was Clark's playoff debut. The intensity, the pressure, it's a whole different ballgame. She was facing a team of playoff veterans who knew exactly how to crank up the heat. Now, you might think Clark's eye injury was tough, but that was just the warm-up. The real challenge? Facing a team with 222 playoff games under their belt when your entire squad has only 19. Talk about a David and Goliath situation.
And the funniest part about this is Caitlin Clark, who can't hit a shot, clearly she can't see. She's not even trying to do anything.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever walked into a playoff battleground where experience was the name of the game. The Connecticut Sun? They had it in spades. We're talking about a team that's been there, done that, and probably has the playoff t-shirt collection to prove it. On the other side, the Fever, with their playoff experience counter barely hitting double digits. Imagine being Caitlin Clark in that moment. You've had this incredible rookie season, breaking records left and right. Everyone's talking about you. But now, you're in the playoffs, and it's like someone cranked up the difficulty to expert mode overnight. The pressure was real. Clark wasn't just facing any team. She was up against players who eat playoff games for breakfast. And leading the charge? Alyssa Thomas. This woman didn't just show up, she put on a clinic. A triple-double with 12 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. That's the kind of performance that makes rookies question everything they thought they knew about basketball. But here's the thing about Clark. She's no ordinary rookie. She came into this game with the weight of an incredible regular season on her shoulders. People weren't just expecting her to play well. They were waiting for her to dominate. That's a lot for anyone to handle, let alone someone in their first playoff game. The Suns' defense? They came prepared. They knew Clark was the one to watch, and they made sure she felt it. Every shot was contested, every pass was challenged. It was like they had a personal vendetta against Clark's highlight reel. After the game, Clark didn't shy away from the truth. She said, "I got good shots, they just didn't go down." Obviously, a tough time for that to happen. You can almost hear the frustration in her voice, can't you? It's that moment when you know you're capable of more, but the game just isn't going your way. But let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about one bad game. It's about the baptism by fire that is playoff basketball. Clark was getting a crash course in what it means to play when every possession counts, when every team has spent hours studying your every move. You know what's crazy? Even legends have had rough starts. Think about it. Some of the greatest players in basketball history have had games they'd rather forget, especially early in their careers. It's like a rite of passage. You're not really a pro until you've had a game that makes you want to hide under the bleachers. So, what does this mean for Clark? Well, it's a wake-up call, sure, but it's also an opportunity. This is the kind of game that can light a fire under a player. It's the difference between being good and being great.
I feel like you have to kind of approach it the same way. Like every single person is fighting for their life. Every team's fighting for their life. Every single game matters. Every possession matters. But
the question now is, how will Clark respond? Hold up. Everyone's writing off Clark after one bad game, but they're missing something huge. There's a hidden advantage in this loss that could turn her into a playoff monster. Want to know what it is? It's simple. This setback might be the fuel Clark needs to ignite her playoff fire. Think about it. Clark's not just any rookie. She's the one who shattered records left and right during the regular season. You don't do that without having some serious grit. Now, the Fever have a golden opportunity to regroup before Game 2. They're not out of this yet. Elimination? Not if Clark has anything to say about it. Remember, this is the same player who dished out 337 assists in her rookie season. That's not just good. That's historic. So, what's the game plan for Clark and the Fever? First up, they need to figure out how to break through that Sun defense. It's like they had Clark's playbook memorized in Game 1. But here's the thing, Clark's not a one-trick pony. She's got moves we haven't even seen yet. The Fever coaches are probably cooking up some new offensive schemes right now. Imagine Clark coming out in Game 2 with a whole new bag of tricks. The Sun won't know what hit them. They might be expecting the same Clark from Game 1, but they could be in for a big surprise. Clark's not just sitting around feeling sorry for herself either. After the game, she said, "I got good shots. They just didn't go down." That's not excuses. That's a player who knows she can do better. It's like she's telling us, just wait for Game 2. Let's talk about Clark's rookie season for a second. This girl became the first rookie to record a triple-double. She hit more three-pointers in a single season than any other player. You think a player like that is going to let one bad game define her playoff run? No way. Game 2 isn't just another playoff game. It's Clark's chance to show the world what she's really made of. It's her opportunity to flip the script and turn this series on its head. The Sun might have the experience, but Clark's got something they can't match. The hunger of a rookie with something to prove. Here's what's wild about basketball. Sometimes it only takes one play to change everything. One clutch shot, one perfect pass, one game-changing steal. Clark's got all those weapons in her arsenal. All she needs is that one moment to remind everyone why she's been the talk of the league all season. The pressure's on, sure, but pressure makes diamonds, right? Clark's already shown she can shine under the regular season spotlight. Now it's time to see if she can do it when the stakes are even higher. So, what can we expect in Game 2? A more aggressive Clark, for sure. Don't be surprised if she comes out firing from the start. The Fever might run more plays to get her open looks, and you can bet Clark's been in the gym working on her shot, determined to shake off that Game 1 rust. But it's not just about Clark. The whole Fever team needs to step up. They shot just 40.3% in Game 1. That's not going to cut it in the playoffs. If they can raise their game and give Clark some help, watch out. This series could get real interesting, real fast. Let's talk about Clark's playoff debut. It wasn't pretty, but it showed us something important. Clark said, "Obviously she got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me."
For people saying if Caitlin Clark can't shoot, take it to the hoop, man, I don't think she can see. I don't think she can see properly. I'm getting rid of you. Her eye is literally, you can see her eye is red. She got poked in the eye. Get out of this channel. This is a dictatorship. Let's not forget that.
That's the spirit of a true champion right there. Even when things go wrong, you keep pushing. You know what's crazy? This game wasn't just about Clark. The whole team struggled. Clark admitted, "We played a crappy game." But that's the beauty of sports. It's not about one bad game, it's about how you bounce back. This is where we come in. As fans, we need to rally behind Clark and the Fever. They need our support now more than ever. Remember, champions aren't made when everything's going right. They're made in moments like these, when the pressure's on and the odds are stacked against them. That's when true greatness shines through.